YouTube family? Welcome back, or welcome to Recruiting Board. Today is the RB Show, another episode for you. Not going to be too many more of these left in the season, so everyone take this time, like, share, and of course, subscribe to the best family here on YouTube. Real basic here today, guys. We're just going to be going over the playoff game outcomes and some ISL football. And, of course, I'm going to be answering some fan questions that were asked on Instagram. No lie, I really had to rush the editing on this because I have a game to go to today, Needham versus Methuen. And then I have 3 more games to go to this week, so I had to get it out. So if things are a little bit edited wrong or what have you, y'all just bear with me because I know you love me. But let's jump into the RB Show. Y'all, we have to talk ISL football because so much went on this past week from the games I saw, and the future of the ISL has changed because for sure Belmont Hill is here. I have not seen linemen dominate like that since the 21 Milton Academy team with Duncan McDonald and Jack Willie, or before that with Zinter in 2019 on BB&N. Offensively for Belmont Hill, when they played Milton Academy, they weren't doing anything too flashy. They were just running the ball down Milton Academy's throat, which is what they typically like to do, but Belmont Hill bullied them. Defensively, I haven't seen this before, especially not in the ISL. Obviously, last week in my video, I talked about how you had 2 Power 5 DNs at Belmont Hill. Well, potential. Sampson, I think, will be one, right? So you have 2 guys coming off the edge that are Power 5 guys. However, I did not know that Fumara, him and his brother, are both tremendous players. 2 guys coming off the edge, and then them in the middle. There is not many teams out there, other than maybe Avon and Choate, who's going to be able to line up like that. And apparently Lawrence Academy, by the way. I'm going to be honest with you. After watching that game, I had no idea how Lawrence Academy beat Belmont week 1. And there's no way they would beat them now. I've seen Milton Academy play, and traditionally they're always a great program. When they played Lawrence Academy, they played pretty well for being as young as they are, but it was like they had no game plan when they played Belmont. And of course they did, but they had to scrap it because nothing they were doing was working. McNeil had no time to throw, and it was just a complete domination. I love that the 2 new guys on the block are coming in and they are doing damage right away, because in years past that's not fun to me when you have just Milton Academy, BB&N in the final, and that's what the ISL for. No, Facilo's coming in. I love what he also said. This is a football school, and when I was at Belmont Hill, it most certainly was a football school. But hold on one second, because while I'm at the Belmont Hill game, I checked the Lawrence Academy score, and I couldn't believe it. Govs was killing Lawrence Academy. What a bad loss for LA at this point in the season, because unfortunately with that loss, they can't win the ISL outright, at least. Now, they still have a chance to win it. They'd have to share it, I believe. If they win and Belmont loses, they would win it outright. But it just sucks because Govs does what they do at this point in the season. They get better as the year goes on. Always start slow, but then towards the end of the year, they just get better. Not only that, but if you're down against Governors, they suck to play down on. What they do is they just chip away at that clock. And good luck. If your offense isn't in rhythm, good luck beating Govs if you're down. You can't. And man, this is just a tough loss for Lawrence Academy when you're playing BB&N this week, another running team who loves to control the clock with an even better running back. By the way, Bo had an over 100-yard performance again. My Gatorade Player of the Year prediction. Man, Lawrence Academy goes from being on the high horse to kind of being in a shaky scenario where they could not win the ISL at all, which would be very unfortunate. They do have what BB&N struggles with right now. BB&N has a very vulnerable and inexperienced secondary. They are starting an 8th grader at safety. You got a senior quarterback for Lawrence Academy. So they do have their own matchups that they can execute on. It is bowl season, though, in the ISL. It's going to be very interesting because I think Selection Sunday is when we find out where everyone's going to be playing. So BB&N and Lawrence Academy should both make a bowl game. We know Belmont will definitely make it if they win. But as for who I think is going to win, which I plan on being at, I have to give it to BB&N. Lawrence Academy has had a tough time defending the run. And when you're facing Bo McCormick, it's not going to get any easier. Now, let's jump into a couple fan questions. Did I play high school football? I'm probably going to make a video about my own football experience one day, just to tell y'all about what not to do in your football career. But yes, I did. I played at the powerhouse, the New England Powerhouse program that is Exeter High School. We won a state championship, beating Pinkerton my senior year at Pinkerton, by the way, 23-13, November 19th of 2011. Hard to believe that was 12 years ago now. But yeah, I did play high school football. That's what's inspired me to do stuff like this. Coach Ball taught me so many valuable lessons. I got very fortunate to play with him. I wish Exeter the best of luck in the playoffs this year. We got to win another state championship game. It's been way too long since we've won one, boys, since 2012. That's been too long. The best game I've seen all year. Dude, that's tough, man. Top 3, if I'm going to say it, on this channel for the season. CM versus Varian, definitely 1. 2, think Everett versus BC High. And then 3, I probably have to give it Cho Avon. No, that's tied with Milton Academy, Lawrence Academy for 3. The best player I've seen? Dude, that's another tough one, man. That's another tough one. I've seen a good amount of players play live. Jonel Aguero. I say this all the time. I'm actually really pissed off that I didn't get to watch Prep play more when Jonel was on the team, because he was just phenomenal to watch play live. And when he was on the field, it was so different than anyone else that I've seen play. However, honestly, guys, there's one guy that stands out in my mind. Zach Zinter. Watching Zach Zinter play against Milton Academy his senior year, I remember looking at him and just being like, Jesus, that kid looks like a starting interior guard right now in the Big Ten. He fit it. He looked it, and he just dominated that game. Bro, I thought that D1 had the worst first-round matchups in all of the state, because I thought that they were just the most predictable. And for the most part, I was right, except for 2 major ones. Bro, let's go over the biggest upset across the entire state, arguably. And that's Weymouth versus Lincoln Sudbury, bro. That is something I did not see coming at all. Lincoln Sudbury got completely shut out at home. Like I always say, I don't care who you are. I don't care who you write for. No one thought that that was going to happen. A complete shutout by the Wildcats. Cam Aida had himself a career day. People asked me, who is the team that I thought could knock off a number 1 seed? And well, I didn't think it was gonna happen. I thought if they met Prep in the semis, there's a chance it could have happened. Wow. Clearly, I was wrong. And clearly that is disrespectful to the Wildcats, who obviously just had a bad day when I saw them play against Needham. I reached out to Coach Donovan just because I wanted to get a statement about this win, and he said, "Thanks, Alex. Really proud of our kids' effort. They played hard from start to finish. They were able to make some big plays in critical moments against a very good LS team." And he is damn right. They got something cooking down in Weymouth. I think that this win over Lincoln Sudbury is bigger than any win that Andover has throughout the entire season, flanking Lincoln Sudbury, by the way. You know, now that I'm looking at it, actually, I would say take away St. John's Prep's win against CM. Weymouth's win over LS is bigger than any win that any team has on that side of the bracket. This actually could be an interesting one tonight out in Andover. It starts with shutting down their run game, though. You're going to have to make Don Papa throw it and get uncomfortable, because Dante Berger can do some things on that ground now. But Congratulations to Weymouth. That was a huge win. LS is a team who they only had one loss in the regular season, and they were only a 2-point conversion away from being undefeated. So it's just a really big statement win for them. Game against Andover, I think that's going to come down to the wire, or it's going to be a blowout. Personally, it's tough, man. I want to pick... You know what? Screw it. I'll pick Weymouth. I pick Weymouth to upset Andover. I'm going to do it. A lot of you Andover fans are going to be pissed off at me. Love you guys, but I'm going to pick the upset and pick the Wildcats over the Golden Warriors. You guys can clip this and post it if I'm wrong. The next game that I'm going to talk about that truly was disappointing. I thought the BC High Taunton game was extremely disappointing. From what I understand, it was like 21-0 after the first quarter. Bruh. You see, I love the Hockomock League. I think it's so competitive. But for them to get stomped like that, bruh, by a Catholic Conference team in BC High, who is having a great season, by the way, and is a program who's definitely trending upwards. But they're right now the middle of the tier Catholic Conference. And that's what happens. Now, I just want to say, we now know for a fact, because I have video recorded evidence, that Everett versus BC High would have been better. It would have at least been a game at the half if those two teams had played. Very disappointing. I picked Taunton to win it, but they didn't. From what I understand, they just completely balled out. Marshall Rice, Bloodsport, everyone over there. And they go on to face Prep this week. It is way harder to beat a team twice. With that said, I think the Eagles are going to do it. Wait, the Eagles, they're both the Eagles. So that statement's right. The Eagles are going to do it. The Eagles are going to win. Well, not everyone can win in this game, and I think St. John's Prep is going to take it, and they will play Weymouth next week in the semis. Now we go to the right side of the bracket. Man, we're getting less and less games to talk about, unfortunately. This is hurting my heart. No upsets over on here on this side of the bracket. I was, though, kind of concerned with the Central Catholic Springfield Central game. That game was a little bit closer than I anticipated, especially at the half. Ultimately, Springfield Central was able to take care of business and get the W 24-7, setting up the game that everyone knows that I will be at, and that is Springfield Central versus Xaverian, round 2 of the season. It is going to be a game all about who, if you can tackle in this one. Can Xaverian stop Springfield Central's offense? Defense is truly what's going to bring you to the championship in this game. The last time they played, Matthias Barber had over 200 yards receiving, but it was because as soon as he broke a tackle, he was gone. You have to scheme a game plan to where you got a safety that's able to help a corner in that scenario, or just give somebody another opportunity to at least tackle him. However, if you do that, then you do open up Dwayne Early. But here's the thing, guys. I do think right now, Xaverian is playing their best football that they've been playing over the past couple years. Since their loss against CM, they've been handling business against everyone. Xaverian does have the athletes to match up in some areas against Springfield Central. I haven't watched Central play yet. I've seen them on film. This is not what we've seen in years past. And is Charlie Camella coming back against this team the second go around? That's another thing. They did not have him the first game. I mean, if he is back there in the defensive backfield, he definitely will make an impact if he's playing. I love you guys over at Springfield Central, but I'm going to have to give this one to Xaverian. That might not be an upset to some of you, but I think it is. Do you think I'm wrong? Do you think I'm right? Let me know in the comments below. Needham versus Methuen. Now this, I think, is the most interesting matchup. These two teams couldn't be any more different. Needham on one hand, they're going to grind you out, and then Methuen on the other hand, going to rip the ball all around the field, and if they get hot, good luck stopping them. Man, this one's going to be physical. I think, though, Methuen does have the defense and the athletes on the outside to contain that edge. Tafe, Hoffenmeister, and Aiden, Thunder and Lightning are going to have to go to work against Methuen if they're going to want to stay in this. Because I'm telling you, Methuen can score on anyone, and if they get up early, it's going to be very hard. Just go ask Natick. Drew Eason may be the best quarterback that Needham's seen this year, which does kind of scare me for them. Not only that, but if they seen an offensive weapon like Shane Eason, really can't focus on Eason too much because Josh Kwaki is balling out of his mind these past couple of weeks. I don't think Methuen has seen a defense, though, like Needham all year. Because Needham's defense, bro, they fly around. They're big and they're physical. I think personally it's going to be very similar to Methuen Brockton last year. One team was just running it up and down the field, taking minutes at a time. The other team was just scoring at will. And it came down to the last play, literally. I do think Methuen wins it, though. Sorry, Rockets fans. I love you guys. I'm going to have a great time regardless. If I'm wrong about this one, feel free to give me hate in the comments below. So there are my predictions for Division 1. But D1, that was fun. Now let's go on to D2. No, bro. Dinman RVT got spanked by KP. 41-0. Even though I knew that was going to happen, I didn't think they'd get blown out by that many without putting up a point. Or maybe I did. Dude, that was my favorite tech school minus Sean Sheen. Dinman RVT until next year. Let's go! Let's go, though! Winchester beat North Andover. I had that happening, bro. Winchester playing KP this week, bro. That's a sick game. I told you, my man Kieran Corrin, he put North Andover away, bro. If they get on the other side of the 50, no matter who you play, bro, kid's a weapon out there. Do people forget that Winchester has literally the best kicker in the country who's going to Harvard and then the NFL? My dog. Do I think KP wins this one? Yeah. Ultimately, but good job, Winchester. What a turnaround this season. This is a program, man. You want to talk about a program who gets hit with transfers? Winchester is a town that has so many kids leave for different high schools. So for these kids to stay there, make the playoffs, and have the opportunity to go play KP, it is a big one. It says wonders for the coaching staff. It says wonders for the culture of the program. They got plenty of young guys too. So I think Winchester will be back. Great season for them. But I do have KP winning this game and moving on. Bro, I'm not even going to lie. I was about to pick Arlington to upset Peabody last week, and thank God I didn't, because they got schmacked by Peabody. Absolutely schmacked. 34-0. And it sets up what I think is the most evenly matched, definitely in Division 2, but maybe even in the state. Barnstable versus Peabody. Very interesting to see how this game is. I know one thing, that Barnstable will be at a little bit of a disadvantage because that is a decent drive up to Peabody. They've done it before. They do it every year in the 7-on-7s. I think that Barnstable does win this one. It is a lot different playing a team like Barnstable than playing a team like Arlington. Tanner fans, feel free to voice your displeasure in the comments below. But next week, I think we're going to have a KP versus Barnstable semifinal. Get to the right side of the bracket. Man, Wellesley, you guys beat the pulp out of Belmont. It wasn't even close. The Brogy brothers went crazy, of course. It'll be a tough one going up against CM this week. I mean, I have CM winning that game. Sorry, Raiders Nation. It'll be tough to just stop the ground game alone, let alone the air assault from Peter Bork. But I have CM beating Wellesley in that one, moving on to the next round. Ooh, Marshfield versus Bishop Feehan. This one is interesting. Very interesting, to say the least. You know what? I'll rock with Feehan. The Feehan fans are so supportive of me. Marshfield fans, I don't know too well. So I'll rock with Bishop Feehan on this one. I just got to pick an upset here, so I'll pick Bishop Feehan to upset Marshfield. Definitely the toughest game that Bishop Feehan's played all year. Definitely not the toughest game that Marshfield's played all year, though. You got to remember, they did play Methuen and St. John's Prep. Now I'm kinda, you know what? No, I'm sticking to my guns, and we're rocking with the Shamrocks. Here are my final predictions for D2. Let's see what we're rocking with for D3. Let's hit it. Bro, D3, we're kicking it off D3 with a good old-fashioned Hockamock League showdown. We got Milford versus North Attleboro. Woo! That's a good one. I'm loving these D3 matchups. I'm loving them, bro. I've been saying that every week. These are some great matchups. I have Milford winning that game. North Attleboro did shut me up, though, because I had them losing to West Springfield. So I got Milford winning that, though. Only one loss on the season. It's to KP. They're playing some great football down there at Milford. So I'll pick Milford to win that game. Next, we got Walpole versus Mansfield. Can Walpole stop Mansfield run game? And can they get Trevor Foley hot? That will be very interesting. Walpole right now has been playing the best football out of anyone in D3, in my opinion. Minus maybe Milford. And I do think that if they get up on Mansfield early, it'll be very hard for Mansfield to get back in it. And Walpole has been getting ahead of everyone early recently. So I have Walpole winning it. People want to know, is Walpole a dark horse team to win it all in D3? That was one of my questions in my inbox. No, Walpole is on the map. I have been talking about this for weeks. They have been playing great football over the past couple weeks. So no, they are not a dark horse on this channel, at least. In my opinion, they could be a favorite. They are definitely now in my top 2 favorites to win it in D3. So next week, we should have a Walpole-Milford showdown. That one would be sick if we got that game. That would be at Milford. Walpole would be able to put a stamp going into the Super Bowl. I think if Walpole beat Milford next week, I like them over anyone on that side of the bracket. Already getting ahead of myself, though. Let's go to the next side of the bracket. Billerica. Guys, on this channel, I said it. I said it last week. Plymouth South, that could be a good game, and it went to overtime. Look at that. Cassius Johnson and that crew, man, they can run the ball, and this is clearly an indicator that Billerica is vulnerable in some places more than others. I was trending up on the Indians in the regular season, but these past couple weeks, they've been playing some very concerning football. They need to recover this week against Westfield, who again has been playing their best football recently. Kayvon Eddington is no joke as a running back, and they've been struggling with the run. This isn't going to be an easy game for Billerica by any stretch of the imagination. Luckily, Gentili found his rhythm last week. They were able to put up 29 points, which is better than what they did against Andover, obviously. But Billerica has to pull their head out of the hole against Westfield this week. Who do I think wins that game? I think Billerica wins it. I think they get their footing back this week. Milton and Dartmouth. A lot of y'all out here are sleeping on Dartmouth, bro. They got this far for a reason, man. And Milton right now, able to take care of business over Minneshaug last week, starting to recover from the late season blunder they had. But I am picking Dartmouth in this game. Want to pick an upset. I want to pick a team that not many people know about. And I'm going to pick Dartmouth to beat Milton. A very interesting game, though. The thing, though, with Dartmouth that does concern me, like I've been saying for these other teams, is Milton is the best team that they've faced this year. So, in a lot of ways, this is kind of like their Super Bowl. They're focused on winning this game. If they can beat Milton, I think they could beat Billerica if they play them. But Debo did a great job of preparing his team, again, for moments like this. When they played Needham, when they played Natick, when they played Walpole. So I think that his team is going to be ready. I just picked the upset here and picked Dartmouth. Could be eating my words next week. Milton, you have a chance to prove me wrong. But let me know in the comments below what you think. Here's my final bracket for D3. Let's move on to D4. D4, we have a huge shout out to the Marblehead Magicians, who I picked kind of as a joke to beat Middleborough, but they did upset them. My boys, Crew Monaco, Ryan Camas, Colt Wales, Christian Pacheco, they all did work out in Middleborough, and they go on to play Grafton this week, who I think they're going to beat. I'm not going to joke around this week. I'm going to pick them to beat Grafton because why not? They just upset the number 3 seed. Why not pick them to beat the number 6 seed, which now I don't think is an upset anymore. Magicians, they know that they're some of my strongest fans, so I'm going to double down with them and say they're going to beat Grafton and go to the Final Four. Duxbury versus Somerset. Duxbury, of course, did work versus Bedford last week, while Somerset got a good win over Westwood, and their running back did have over 200 yards. I just think that it's going to be tough for them to stop Duxbury, and I'm picking Duxbury to win this one. This is going to be a good one. Tewksbury just sneaking out a last-second win over Canton last week, while Burlington upsets another team this year. Burlington at 12 beat Norwood, who is number 5. So, honestly, I'm going to pick Burlington to win this one. I think that they can beat Tewksbury. It would be very funny, though, if Duxbury and Tewksbury play each other next week, because I'd be willing to bet that that game is going to be played at Xaverian. Because if y'all go look back on this channel, I actually covered that game early in my career. So that would be funny if they did play, but I don't think they will. Holliston at Scituate. I pick Holliston to win that one. Holliston's going to have to stop Scituate's running game, which has been playing well. Alex Bureau is a dog for them. But I'm going to pick Holliston to play Marblehead next week in the Final Four. There's my Final Four D4. Let's go on to D5. D5! Damn, man. Damn. My Fisherman, Gloucester. It was over in the first half from what I understand. Scalzi torched y'all for 6 tutties. Hey, I'm still proud of y'all, man, though. You made the playoffs as the 16th seed. You met the best team in all of D5, it looks like. Hanover plays Bishop Stang this week, and I do think they're going to win that game. This is what I'm most excited for, though. When I first started these episodes, I said that I wanted to see a Dedham versus Danvers matchup in the Elite 8. We get to see it. I have kind of a personal investment in both these teams because I'm kind of from the North Shore area, or, well, used to live out in the North Shore. And then I watched Dedham play their first game of the year when they played Wellesley. And I think that Dedham is going to win this one. I just think they have better athletes and they have a better run game. It's a tough sell for me to pick Danvers when they didn't beat Marblehead a couple weeks ago, who I think would lose to Dedham if they played each other. So I got Dedham Hanover next week. That's a game I might have to be at, bro. Depending on where the neutral location at, you never know. Maybe I will be at that game. Foxborough, Newburyport. I had people reaching out to me, asking me if I could go to that game. It's not going to happen, sorry. I picked Auburn to win that game last week against Newburyport, and they got completely blanked. But I do think Foxborough is going to win that. However, if Newburyport wins that game, I won't pick against them for the rest of the D5 playoffs. And that will include against Hanover. Shawsheen versus Old Rochester. Shawsheen holding it down for all the tech schools, all the trade schools in Massachusetts. They're going to be in the Final Four because I have them beating Old Rochester this week. Bro, this is a stacked Final Four for Division 5. It'll set up a sick Super Bowl. Now we're going to end it with Division 6, guys. I actually, for those of you who think I don't show any love for smaller school football, I went to Linfield versus Swampscott last week. A game where Linfield dominated, but Swampscott was still in it, had their offense played better. The defense for Swampscott was playing well, at least. We got Norwell, Fairhaven. I picked Norwell to win it, although I do give Fairhaven a shot. They got a strong running game there, so if you can get that going and you can win at the line of scrimmage in high school football, you can beat just about anyone. Hudson versus Linfield. I'll pick Linfield to win that. Pioneers treated me right when I was there. They gotta play a little bit better, though, against Hudson. They know this. They had some shots against Swampscott that I didn't put in the video, by the way, that were complete drops that would have been touchdowns had they caught them. They complete those against Hudson. There's no way Hudson can win. They know their assignments. They play good football at Linfield, so I'm going to pick them. Stoneham with a huge win over Abington. I think that was literally the biggest upset in the entire state. I don't think a 2 seed lost to a 15 seed other than that one. They're going to play Bellingham. Heck, I'm going to pick Stoneham. Why not? Give them that momentum. If a 15 seed makes it to the Final Four, I'm going to keep it going too. Salem versus Cardinal Spellman. I got Salem winning this one. I didn't think that Cardinal Spellman was going to be able to beat St. Mary's, but they did. I picked Salem to win that game. So there's my final for Division 6. Thank y'all so much for being here. I appreciate y'all. That's the video for the day. There's not going to be too many more of these shows for the rest of the year. So take this time, like, share, and of course, subscribe to the best family here on YouTube. I'm Alex Agrella with Recruiting Board, and I am signing off.